everyone, and welcome back to my vlog. So this is going to be part 2 of I got a breast reduction. And this actually should have been part 1. I realized that I shared all that video with you with no context. So today it's just going to be me talking about the breast reduction process, what I went through, what my recovery was like, and what it's like for me now. So to start, the reason why I got a breast reduction was because I was a 36I. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with bra sizes, but it's basically, A, B, C, D, double D, E, triple E, F, G, H, I. And it goes all the way down. There are people that even have had a breast size of like an N. And that person that had a breast size of an N is the reason I found out about breast reductions in the first place. So for me, my story is a little bit different. So I've always had, I guess, larger breasts in terms of when I actually started getting a bra, wearing a bra, I was a 36B. So my training bra basically was a 36B. And I was relatively small in size. I was 135 pounds from about the age of like 12 until I was like well into my 30s. Eventually I ended up being a 36D. So that was the size that I was all through college and my 20s. Around, I want to say around 33, 34, I started to notice a change. I hadn't gained a lot of weight, but I felt like I think my breasts are growing. I even remember having a conversation with my mom, like, "Mom, do you notice a change?" And so I just thought, "Oh no, you're in your 30s. You've already gone through puberty. There's no way that your breast size is changing that much." And so what prompted me to get actually measured was I was going to Caravana, long story short, and decided to be in, play mass jump, be in a parade, and I had to get measured for my costume. And so I went and got professionally measured, and they were like, "You're a 36H," which I didn't even know that was a bra size. So to kind of give you an idea of where that is, a 36H would be like a triple X in terms of if you were going to buy say a swimsuit and you were going to buy small, medium, large, extra large, I would be a triple X because of the size that my breasts were. So I was basically at the time a large, medium bottom, triple X top. And so I was just like, it is what it is, went on about my business. And then of course I went and got, my annual checkup. Please go get your annual checkups. It's important for our health. Went and get my annual checkup, saw my gynecologist, and she suggested to me, she said, for your size, your breasts are really out of control. I feel like you should get a breast reduction. I want to recommend some people to you. And I was kind of dismissive of it because I had done research on a breast reduction in the past, but of course there's scarring involved, from the surgery, and most of the stuff that I read was very like, you're gonna have these horrible scars, you're gonna have this painful recovery. And I kind of was like, do I really want to go through that? I really don't. Yes, my breasts are big, but it's not inconveniencing me. That's what I thought at the time. And so it wasn't until maybe 6 months later, I got up one day, regular day, started getting ready for work, was about to leave for work, bent down to pick up my backpack that I carried with me because at the time I took public transportation, threw my back out. threw my back out. I didn't realize at the time that I threw my back out. I just know I bent over and I felt horrible, sharp pain in my back. I actually thought, oh my God, could I be having a heart attack? Could it be something worse? So I actually ended up not going to work and going to the emergency room. Went to the emergency room and they basically were like, you've thrown your back out. Have you noticed you also have some swelling in your neck and your shoulder? Like even now, it's not as prominent as it was, but I had like a little mass on my neck, and my shoulders were like uneven. And so the first thing they thought was thyroid. First they thought thyroid issues, then they were like cancer. So they actually thought maybe I might have had something majorly wrong with my thyroid that was causing my lymph nodes in my neck to swell up. And because I also was having like pain, shooting pain in my arm and swelling, and you know, the sharp pain that I kept feeling every time I breathed, they were like, you know, this could be something very serious. Let's do, you know, CT scans, all of that. So I had to get my whole arm scanned, my neck scanned, do a bunch of thyroid tests, and nothing came back. It came back, everything, my thyroid was normal. They didn't find any sort of cells or anything. And so they just, you know, dismissed it as an isolated incident and sent me on my way. And so, you know, kept going for maybe like another 3 or 4 months. And then I started having regular pains in my arm, and my back, and, you know, the swelling in my neck didn't go down the way they thought it should have gone down. And so they sent me to a specialist, an orthopedic specialist, to say, you know, there's some sort of strain on her that's causing this issue. And the surgeon basically took one look at me and was like, you need a breast reduction. Your breasts are too big for your back, for your shoulders, and your body can't maintain, you know, what you're carrying on your chest. And so, and you'll see the pictures. So the next step was for me to find a doctor, and so I was recommended to a doctor. Her name is Dr. Allison Shore. She's a board certified plastic surgeon. So if you are interested in getting a breast reduction, one of the main things that you need to make sure of is the person that is completing your surgery is a board certified plastic surgeon, meaning that they have the training, they have the malpractice insurance, they've been, you know, thoroughly vetted to do plastic surgery on your body. There are plastic surgeons that are not board certified, and that could cause you a lot of problems. And so I went with Dr. Allison Shore, and I did my first consultation with her. And of course, she was like, yes, based on what I'm seeing, based on, you know, your size, your back size, your waist, you know, your body shape, your chest is too large for, you know, for what you're carrying. And so one of the good things about her practice is they basically take care of everything insurance wise. And what that means is you give them your insurance information, they do everything. They take pictures of you, you know, front, back, side. I don't know, I'm gonna age myself right now, but if you've ever seen Living Single, you've seen the episode of Regine where, you know, she had the breast reduction and she's like got her arms up, she turned it to the side, and you do have to do that. So you do that, and they basically take these pictures, they do the write-up for the insurance, they submit everything to saying, you know, this person needs a breast reduction. And the reason that has to be done is because insurance companies still consider a breast reduction as cosmetic surgery, not a necessity. In my case, so you have to prove that it's medically necessary for you to have this procedure in order for them to pay for it. Otherwise, you have to pay out of pocket for the surgery. In my case, because I had all of these, you know, issues, my shoulders, with my neck and all of that, you know, it was medically necessary for me to actually have this procedure. Um, and it was denied. So the first time I applied, it was denied. They felt like, yes, you know, her breasts are large, but no, we don't think it's medically necessary that she actually get this surgery. And so one of the things that my doctor had me do was, you know, start logging all the issues that I had related to my chest size. And I had to lose weight. So at the time, I think I was 190, maybe a little bit less than 190, like 185. And so I had to lose weight, get under 180, retake pictures, and basically just log all of the things that were happening with my body that related to my breast size. Like, so after I was done, I like my arm swelled up, the lump on my, so I still have a little bit of a lump, but imagine a golf ball sitting on your neck. So the lump was bigger, and you know, I was having issues with my hand. I had, you know, severe shooting pains up my arm, carpal tunnel, you know, because of course you're wearing a bra and the bra is like resting on your shoulder and all of that. So it was just causing a lot of like flow restriction and different things for me. So I actually got a trainer. Shout out to V Body Power Fitness. Got a trainer 3 days a week, sometimes 4. I was in there, lost the weight, did everything I was supposed to do, and lowered my weight, reapplied, and my procedure was approved. So one thing with my doctor was, even if you are denied, you still need to have an appointment on the books, because she not only does, you know, breast reductions, but she does a mastectomy, she does breast reconstruction surgery, she does reassignment surgery. So she's in high demand. When I say I chose a great doctor for my procedure, I chose an amazing doctor, and she does great work. So I already had an appointment scheduled. My surgery was May 15th. And you know, the only part of the process that was really scary for me was I got approved for the surgery at the time I had United Insurance, and a month later my job had this big meeting, and they were like, we're changing insurance, it's going to be great for everyone. And I had just gotten my approval, and so there was a whole process that I had to go through where I had to resubmit or get confirmation, like reconfirmation with the new insurance, that they were still going to pay for my surgery. So that was very stressful, and I was able to do that. And then the day of my surgery, you know, show up, you know, you wear something that is easily zippable, because you can't bend, lift your arms, or do any of that type of stuff. And so let's get into, like, you know, the afters. So I had the surgery, didn't really have a lot of pain. You go in, you get marked up. Because of my size, I was only able to go down to a D. So realistically, when you hear breast reduction, you think, oh, you're gonna go in and they're gonna, you know, just take them down, and you're gonna have like cute little perky little BCs. Like, that was my goal. My goal was like, I'm going in there, I'm getting, you know, high B, low C. That was my goal. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be wearing all the little you know, side boob crop tops, etc. But my plastic surgeon really gave me a reality check, where she was like, you're an I. In order for us to have a safe procedure, the lowest we can take you to is a D, because not only did they have to remove like skin and fat, but they also had to like take my nipple off, resize it, put it back on. Um, so yeah, so I basically have what's called a lollipop scar. Um, and that's a scar that, and I actually have paper here, so I'm gonna draw it and show you. They call it a lollipop scar, but they also call it a anchor scar. And it's basically like this. So what the doctor does is they cut under, they cut down, and they cut around. So this is your nipple. They cut around your nipple, they cut down, and they cut under. So what they're basically doing is they take your nipple off. They cut it open. They remove, as much fat as safely possible, and then they kind of like pull your skin tighter, and then they re-put the nipple back on. They cut it down, they size it so it's the size that it would be for, a smaller breast, because a nipple is still skin, so it stretches. And then they, you know, suture you back up. So basically your scar will look like an anchor. You'll have scarring around your nipple, down, and under. And so that's what my doctor did. The way she did my surgery, though, I did not need drains or anything like that. Some people, when they have the surgery, they have to have drains in order to get rid of like excess blood and maybe a little pus and stuff. I didn't need that at all. I basically just had, sutures around the nipple area, down and underneath. And you actually, I didn't have dissolvable sutures. I had the kind that you have to remove. So you have your surgery, you go back the next day. They don't really take your bra off because you have the surgery bra on. They look, see if everything looks good. There's no swelling, there's no edema, meaning no specific swelling or pooling of blood. Everything looks good. You go home, and then you go back in a week to get your sutures out. So that's what happened. In terms of scarring, so I do have scarring, but one of the things I was really worried about was, is my scars gonna keloid? As a black person, a black woman, our skin is very delicate, especially when it comes to scarring and cutting. And so that's one of the reasons I was very afraid to get the breast reduction, was because a lot of people talked about the suturing and the scarring and the keloiding of skin. My scars are very smooth. On my left side, you actually can barely tell because it's so faded. It looks like skin. Like you might can see like a fine white line where she did the incision, but you can't really tell that there's major scarring. On my right side, I do have a little bit more of a darker line. One of the reasons for that is I'm allergic to medical tape, and they didn't have a choice but to tape me because you have to keep the sutures together, and so you have to tape. And so I had a reaction to the tape, so I have a little bit of darker lining there, but no heavy scars, just fine scars. I do have like different colors on the nipple. You're gonna have that because, like I said, they cut and resize, and of course, that causes you to lose some of the pigmentation. And they do offer what's calling medical tattooing, which is you can go in and they tattoo the scar, so it looks like even and perfect. I didn't care about that. I was just happy to get the procedure done, so I opted not to do the medical tattooing. So you can definitely see like the resize or the incision where they sutured back the nipple on, but it's not like blaringly obvious. So overall, I'm very happy with how they turned out. In terms of recovery, I was out for 2 weeks in terms of going back to work because I worked, in an office position, but I was not able to lift anything for 6 or more weeks. And to be honest, there was a lot I couldn't do. Like, I could barely lift my arms up high because you're still, my incisions go from, almost my underarms under. And so it's still, you're still healing. So you can't really lift high. And you're still feeling the pressure. So for me, the pain of the breast reduction was more like, if you did like 100 sit-ups, that was the type of pain I felt, except when I like tried to do anything physical where I lifted my arm or anything like that. It was a lot. But 2 weeks I was able to travel. I actually had a work conference that I went to in Las Vegas, and I was able to do everything, enjoy myself and not like feel like serious pain or feeling overwhelmed, but I didn't overexert myself. So that was good. I will say, like, the only time I was in severe pain was my first cycle. You know, I don't know about everyone, but for me, during my cycle, my breast kind of swells. So you have fresh scarring, sutures from an incision, and then they swell up. So you're feeling pain. And when your incision is healing, it also itches. So you're feeling pain from the itching, pain from the swelling, and the itching. So it was very uncomfortable. I think it was the worst pain I ever felt in my entire life. Because you literally are swollen. There's nothing you can do about it. After my surgery, I was prescribed tramadol, but I did not take it for more than the first 2 days. I didn't need it after the first 2 days because, like I said, the pain wasn't crazy. But during my first cycle, I definitely needed to take it. And so, I pretty much have maintained my size from my surgery, which was 2019, up until maybe halfway through the pandemic, because I'm not as active, not working out as much. So right now I put on weight. So now I'm at a 36/38 double D, but still manageable. And if I were to get back to working out the way that I did, of course my size would probably go down some, but it's not where I used to be. I haven't really had any lot of issues with sizing or finding bras or swimsuits or feeling uncomfortable, but of course there's always the mental health aspect of it, where you have anxiety about, are they going to come back, are they going to grow back, will I have to have another breast reduction, what would that look like, what happens if they grow back. But overall, it's been good. 3 years later, I'm extremely happy that I did the breast reduction, because you don't realize until after you've gone down the sizes, like how strenuous it was on your body. I actually had to do physical therapy after the whole thing was over, because there was so much strain on my back and my shoulders, my hand, that I still had the effects from it. And so I actually had to do physical therapy once a week for quite a while to like reset my shoulders, so I didn't have like the hunch, and to work on the pain in my arms, and do acupuncture and do like massage therapy and stuff for my back pain, my lower back pain, which was terrible. But in terms of like the overall experience, it was good. There are some things though that to consider if you want to do a breast reduction. One of the things you need to consider is that you may never be able to wear a underwire bra again. I own underwire bras, but I don't wear them frequently because of the way my scars are, and just because of the fact that it's an incision. They're not comfortable for me anymore. And so I rarely wear them. A lot of times I wear like sports bra, or I wear bras with no type of underwire or anything. And you just are going to be very aware of certain things when it comes to your breast that you weren't aware of anymore. And you may also, not everyone has the same experience, but realistically, you're not going to have the same breasts. Um, my left breast is totally different than my right. They are sisters, they're not twins. One, like symmetrically, they are the same, but one operates different than the other one. One of the reasons for that is because when you do the surgery, if you do happen to do an anchor, they remove your nipples and they put them back on. You may or may not have get your sensation back. I have sensation. One is way more sensitive than the other, but both have sensation. And honestly, for the first maybe like 6 months, they were so sensitive. Like if it was cold outside, I would be in pain. Because it was like the nerves are reconnecting, so it's like rapid fire sensation. Like a stiff breeze would blow and I could blind a truck driver. Is what I would say, because it was just way too much sensation. So that's just something to be aware of. Like your breasts aren't gonna just be perfect because you have a breast reduction. They're gonna, if you get a good plastic surgeon, they're gonna feel good, they're gonna look great. Like I'm happy with them, but you have to realize that they're not gonna be necessarily totally identical. Like I said, one is kind of virtually low scar free almost, and one still has a little bit of scarring that's more visible, and different sensations depending on how your nerves reconnect, and even one might be slightly bigger than the other because depending on how your swelling goes or swelling goes down, you may have like a difference. And you'll notice that because of course what they look like before, what they look like now. It's like you become very aware of what's going on. But overall the experience was great. For me, it was very interesting, the experience, and even still now, my recovery, still almost 2.5, 3 years later, still something new every day in terms of how they feel, how they react, cycle-wise, or what happens when I gain or lose weight, because they definitely fluctuate with that. But it's not been a situation where I feel like the size is coming back or anything like that. But so happy with the progress that I made, the decision that I made, and if you are thinking about having a breast reduction, feel free to comment, ask questions in the comments. If you want to send me a private message, I will pass along the information that I have, and tell you what I know about the process. I'm also gonna leave the information for my surgeons in the commentary. I'm gonna link some of the resources that I use and things that I did, including like the scar gel and stuff that I use. And thank you all for watching this video. Have a good one.